Well, hello, good morning, God bless you. YouTubers, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitter. This is Katherine Johnson, servant of the Lord. I want to thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel. If you like what you hear, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Also, go to my Patreon channel and become a Patreon. We're going to continue with the book of Revelation. We're in Revelation chapter 14. And Revelation chapter 14 is a summary of God's judgment against those living on the earth, the beast, his kingdom, and those who take the mark of the beast. As I usually do, I read first and then I expound. So I want you to get your Bibles and I want you to read with me Revelation chapter 14. And we're going to start right now. And I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of waters. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust into thy sickle, and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust into his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust into thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Now I'm going to expound on this word. Chapter 14, verse 1. This is a new vision for John. The Lamb is Jesus Christ, is standing, representing his continued deliverance of God's people on earth. Mount Zion is the earthly city of God that will be destroyed in the seventh bowl judgment. I want you to read Revelation chapter 16, verse 17 through 21, and Revelation 18. With him 144,000. These are Jews referred to in chapter 7, having his name, Jesus, and the name of his fathers written on their foreheads. These are the same sealed by God for protection who are now saved. They're showing God's faithfulness. Those that are marked by God will be delivered and protected. Those marked by Satan will not. Chapter 14, verse 2. I heard a voice from heaven like the sound of many waters, and like the sound of loud thunder, like the sound of harpists playing on their harps. John is on earth for this vision. He is hearing a heavenly choir. The 144,000 must learn the song of the choir. Chapter 14, verse 3. And they sang a new song, the harpists before the throne and before the four living creatures, and no one could learn the song except the 144,000 purchased. The 144,000 must learn the song of the choir that only the harpists know, who have been purchased from the earth. These are those on the earth redeemed, saved from the earth. Chapter 14, verse 4 through 5. These are the ones not defiled with women, for they have kept themselves chaste. The men described here are Greeks, for they are virgins. These are the ones that follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These are Jewish men that are virgins, saved, that follow Jesus wherever he goes. The first fruits, the first groups of Jews converting to Christianity, with more to come after them. I want you to read Romans chapter 8, verse 23, 11, and 16. This occurs following the destruction of Jerusalem in the seventh bowl. Read Revelation 16, verse 19. And no lie was found in their mouth. This means blameless, pure. Read Ephesians chapter 1, verse 4 and 5, and verse 27. Chapter 4, verse 6 through 7. And I saw another angel flying in mid-heaven. Another angel preceded this angel. I want you to read Revelation chapter 8, verse 13. Having an eternal gospel, a good news message of long standing, to preach to those who live on the earth, to share with those God's called, to repentance before his wrath comes to those living on the earth that are not saved, and every nation and tribe and tongue and people. It means the saved or lost living on the earth. He said with a loud voice, in Greek it's saying with a loud voice, a heavenly proclamation, fear God. It's a command to fear or respect for the true God of heaven. I want you to read Genesis chapter 22, verse 12, Psalms 111, verse 10. Give him glory is the second command, because he is sovereign, because the hour of his judgment has come. This is a shorter period, the end of God's wrath and not the beginning. I want you to read Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. The gospel of the kingdom, the message of God's wrath. Read Matthew chapter 3, verse 7. Worship him means fear and recognition of God's sovereignty, who made the earth, the heavens, the seas, the springs of water. Chapter 14, verse 8 is another angel. It's a third angel flying horizontally. He's saying, fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. This vision John had was seen as done. I want you to read Isaiah chapter 21, verse 9. Babylon is a Greek word. It means Babel in Hebrew, which is confusion. In Bible history, Babel was one of the towers that would extend up to heaven, and God confused the language of those that were at that time so they could not complete the tower. I want you to read Genesis chapter 10, verse 10, verse 11, chapter 11, verse 1 through 4. This city is the epitome of idol worship. The book of Revelation refers to the destruction of two Babylons. The Babylon in Revelation 14 refers to a worldly religious world system that opposes the church, believers, and Christianity. The destruction of the religious Babylon occurs in the middle of the tribulation. The actual destruction of the city of Babylon occurs in Revelation chapter 16, verse 18 through 19. I want you to read Isaiah chapter 13 and 14, Jeremiah 50 to 51 prophesied that Babylon will be rebuilt and will be where Satan will establish his kingdom, possibly Rome or Jerusalem. She who has made all the nations drink of the wine of the passion of her immorality, accepted this religion, partakers of her sin. I want you to read Jeremiah 51 verse 7. This is the gospel, the good news that the gospel is triumphant and a warning to the unrepentant to turn to God. Revelation chapter 14 verse 9 through 11, the third angel warning those of eternal doom, of those that receive the mark of the beast of the Antichrist. The fire and brimstone, the smoke arises from the bottomless pit, lack of rest day and night. This is eternal hell. Revelation chapter 14 verse 12 through 13. Here is the patience of the saints. Patience means God's grace to endure, to continue to serve God, knowing God will judge their enemies. Those that die martyred in tribulation will rest. They will resurrect and reign with Christ during the millennium. I want you to read Revelation chapter 20, verse 4 through 6. And they will receive the rewards for their labor. Those that are dead in Christ have run their race successfully. They're resting. They're waiting peacefully to receive the rewards of their labor. Revelation chapter 14, verse 14 through 16. And upon the clouds sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. Christ the Messiah and his second coming. The crown means ruler of the earth. The sickle means judgment. To reap and harvest the earth means to judge and punish the people of the earth. Revelation chapter 14, verse 17 are symbolic of God's wrath as a grape harvest with treading of the great clusters in an immense winepress. The sickle means judgment. The clusters of the vine of the earth are unbelievers that worship the beast. Her grapes are fully ripe. This means God's judgment on the earth is now. The great winepress of the wrath of God shows the violence and intensity of God's judgment and wrath on the earth. The blood refers to actual blood resulting from a battle, possibly the battle of Armageddon. I want you to read Revelation chapter 16, verse 14 through 16. The amount of the blood results from the winepress shows the severity of the judgment. 1,600 furlong, that equals 184 miles. The full length of Palestine, the Jordan Valley, which is north of the Sea of Galilee, to the Red Sea. This is a horrific, violent, terrible judgment, punishment directly from God. That's the end of Revelation chapter 14. God bless you.